Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakaatuh. Welcome back to our channel. Thanks for tuning in again. Nice to see you all. So today we're going to talk about a few tips that Aisha has come up with for successful bios and trying to get married, not actually in the marriage yet. I'm excited to hear and comment. Let's see what we have.
So yes, and in the new era that we live in, we tend to find a lot of our relationships online, whether it's through Facebook,
matchmaking websites.
Yeah.
I think the majority find it now. There's some surveys that track find your spouse in bars, find your spouse at school, find your spouse at work, at church, through family, online, and then these kinds of different lists. And online has exploded recently. It's by far the most common way that people get married today.
and you
Subhanallah.
find many apps for different groups. Even you have Christians with their own Christian mingle app. Muslims
Farmersonly.com.
Oh yeah, Tinder, but we're not gonna go there. But
That's not for getting married. That's for the other thing.
yeah.
That's for the opposite.
So I have a few pointers that I think really worked for me when I was in the process of trying to find a husband. And although everyone that came to my profile did not really, like me. For example, there will be people that want specifically Bangladeshi women. And I'm sure some of you sisters can relate to this too if you ever been on the website. So the thing is, the way how my bio was set up, I used to get all the traffic. So I would ask him to give a few pointers too, but like I said before, his profile was blank.
I wouldn't have any pointers to give.
You're more or less the predator of the app. So without further ado, my first point is to be very detailed in your marriage profile. So with saying that, even when you go on the app too, they say make sure you put paragraphs about yourself, because you are two different people trying to connect with each other, two strangers. It's like reading a food label, more or less.
Oh, here are the contents.
Yeah, you want to know what's in it. And
meanwhile, mine was empty.
Yes,
I didn't fill it out. I put assalamu alaikum. I think that's all I had.
If you didn't have your picture, they probably would have ignored you.
You did ignore me.
I mean, like...
You did ignore me at first.
So yeah, and what I suggest too is not only put in a whole paragraph about yourself, but to talk about your family. This way, people, when you get married, it's two families coming together. So the other person will want to know what he is getting himself into. For example, I put that my siblings are all people that studied Islam. Like one of my siblings are half of the Quran. I put that all in because I know this is the kind of person I'm trying to attract to my profile. Not saying that you need to be like someone that is studied.
Because I'm not.
Yeah. But just someone with the same mindset, because you're trying to build a family.
If you can't be a scholar, then the least that we can do is at least love the scholars. So we can always try and strive towards that, or know what direction we want to go towards. So even if we're not a scholar, we would at least love scholars and marry someone who also loves scholars, loves ilm of Islam, knowledge about Islam, loves preserving Islam, and the sacred sciences, and the scholars who've dedicated their lives and sacrificed so much to preserve and continue the tradition. Having that is the very least that we can do, even if we're not scholars ourselves. So.
And for example, if you're someone like me too, like I just have some good looks going for me, but at the same time, not everyone would like how I look. So I know I didn't really have much like being a graduate or someone like an engineer, like someone that will kind of have these qualities that might attract someone. I was simply just someone that completed high school, did a bit of college, and that was it.
Yeah, I can relate to that a lot and understand because no one wants to get married or to get their daughter married to someone less than like 35. It's very, very difficult for someone younger than like around 35 to get married, which is very shocking because it's so against, among the Muslim community, especially, I'll say at least. It's just, it's very extreme. It's the opposite of what the Sahaba used to do. Like you have Dar al-Arqam, where all the Sahaba used to go and study. Arqam bin Abil Arqam, he, radiallahu anhu, he was only 14 when he accepted Islam and had Muslims coming and studying in his house. Married, had a family, had his own house, owned his own trade, his own business. I don't know what his skill or trade was, but you know, and you compare that with today, 35 years old, and I mean, even I was able to get married. I was ready to get married, and I know a lot of people wouldn't be at the age, but I wasn't even being looked at to say, oh, okay, he could. It was like, no.
Yeah, I was slightly. Yeah, you were a bit too young.
Even you dismissed, yeah, too young.
I'm not sure. I'm married like my dad. We're kind of like a conservative family. We know exactly what we want for ourselves. Watching our parents grow up, you want someone that can take care of you. So I kind of like was giving him the blind eye because I thought he was probably too young. He doesn't know what he wants as yet. Because women tend to mature a bit faster than guys. But I'm glad I gave him a chance because he's almost perfect. Anyways. So yeah. I remember too, honey, I used to tell people, I don't know if I told you too, like when they asked me, what do I do? I used to tell them, I'm a stay-at-home daughter. Because that was what I was, a stay-at-home daughter.
Yeah. And it's funny because, yeah, I'm sure the profiles are always asking like, oh, well, what are you doing right now? And for a lot of the ladies, it's not a problem if ladies are doing something, but there's no kind of pressure or stigma if a lady is not like working. It's not considered lazy or anything like that. So that is cute.
I was working, but so yeah, that's about it. I think for your bio, I think be very detailed and advertise where you came from and what you're looking for. So that way both parties know exactly what the package is, and you will get more attraction this way from different profiles.
Yeah, always be upfront and honest.
And don't even worry about being embarrassed because most of these apps hide your face, hide your identity. It's just you putting your mindset out there. So nothing really to be shy about.
Yeah, you control who can see your picture.
Yeah. And the next point I want to go to is to avoid filters or anything like that. One, because you're two strangers on the internet. You want your identity to be super clear. You don't want to cut your face on you. Or you don't want to put a filter that makes you look lighter than what you are or darker than what you are. Because you don't want to come off as like a catfish. And me personally, if I see someone with these kind of things, I would be thinking, what are you trying to hide? What are you really trying to hide behind the filter? So just put your face out there.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. And I guess the only kind of comment I would have is when it comes to putting pictures out is for guys and girls, make sure that the pictures are decent. You're not doing anything that's not decent. Learn about what the basic
provocative.
Yeah, learn what the basic rules of hijab are. Hijab doesn't just mean you cover your hairline down past your ear. It's also, if you put makeup on your face, that would be falling into what she's talking about, of one kind of just being a little deceptive. And then on the second part, well, the first part, the most part, is that it would be haram, so we do what pleases Allah. And of course for the guys as well, don't do any kind of photos that are bad.
Like flexing your chest, flexing your abs, stuff like
flexing
that.
Your bank account. Don't put nothing foolish in the bio of like...
Because you won't get what you want. You will just be attracting like temporary people.
You might get what you want, but you're not going to get what's good for you.
I would say the third point is to keep your options open. One thing is you won't catch feelings fast. You won't feel like this person is like a boyfriend. You have to be committed to this person. I think you can talk to like at least 3 individuals, get what you need from the person, like no idle talk. And you can tell these things when the person wants to know what's your favorite color. Like those simple, like, unnecessary things, like things that won't really make an impact to you. If he likes orange, that doesn't mean I'm gonna wear orange shirt every day. So things like that, you have to ask. If the person is not asking meaningful questions like, how do you spend your time? Do you study? Do you study Islam? What do you plan on doing finance wise? If you plan on staying home, like these things that matters to the person to see if you're compatible.
I think that from my experience in sales and business and management stuff, it's really important in negotiation that you never just get a yes, because a yes is meaningless without a why, and a how, and a game plan. So there needs to be in the conversation not just, do you study Islam? Yes. Okay. Wow. I am matched up with this boy, and and I'm so in love with him, and he studies Islam, and you'll easily get this image in your mind because you'll go through your checklist. Do you study Islam? Yes. Are you perfect to your parents? Yes. He knows the right answer to all the questions. You'll go down and you'll get this image. So with each question, you have to make sure that you see the why and the how. You see that he has genuine motivation on the why, on his intentionality, and you see the how of examples of how it manifests and how he actually does it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And also, going off of my personal experience, if the person say yes, then it's like, okay, he says yes. But then he might end up getting cold feet. She lives too far from me. I don't know their family like that.
Mm-hmm. And that's why there should never be long engagements.
Yeah.
Because it'll also keep you protected from the haram and from catching feelings and from doing
and you won't waste
bad
your
things.
time. You won't waste your time. You don't want to be with someone. Like, even down to Sunny, when you came, my dad was actually in contact with someone else. But it all boils down for me is who was more ready.
No, I know what that's all about. He was eager to get somebody else on a plane to Anguilla as fast as possible.
No. It's like, that's a lot can happen over, a week, even a week or a day. Like, this guy can say, okay, in the next month I'll be ready and I can come over. But then his Aunt Fatima bring this girl and say, hey, my niece came from this place and she's ready to, and then all of a sudden,
Islam.
I can't do this anymore. Like, I have someone else now.
Yeah, Islam is supposed to have the most protections for any exploitation in relationships. So it's really important that there's a clear demarcation between married and not married. Mm-hmm. It's extremely important, and a lot of our communities are unfortunately hurt by that. They don't make the clear distinction. A lot of girls don't know if they're married or not married. People are getting married, they're not sure how strong the marriage is. Marriage go in and out. A lot of different issues like this are happening in the community. So it's very important that we we learn Islam, we follow Islam, because it has the best system for us to find love and good spouses and have good families and successful families.
Mm-hmm. And like my mom always tell us and tell anyone that she ever meets, you don't know someone until you live with them. So you just being with this one person chit-chatting, and then maybe you do get married, but then all of a sudden he changed. He doesn't send me any heart emojis. He doesn't do this anymore. He's not as affectionate. The littlest. These things can really make you think the person changed, but really and truly, that's the show that you got. And the final point is, being on the online world, it can be scary. You can meet up with someone, but like meet up with a serial killer or something. Not to scare anyone, but be patient and just trust in Allah. In Surah Nur, ayah 26, Allah reminds us that good men are for good women and vice versa. So if you know that you're a good person or you need to work on yourself, take the time to work on yourself, make dua, and Allah will give you someone that is right for you.
And remember that we all fall in that category of needing to work on ourselves. And God forbid, one of us think we don't need to work on ourselves, and we end up with a spouse who thinks they don't need to work on themselves. Boy, that'd be a punishment right there.
Everyone is perfect, too perfect to
Two perfect people would be very miserable together.
come on the same playing field like that. So yes, those are my few pointers on how to make a successful marriage bio. You know, keep these things in mind. If you do have like a little choppy short paragraph, add 4 more to it, and hopefully this works out for you.
We get a lot of messages from people who have watched us and just want to reach out with different things, and we love that. We encourage that. So a few people have been mentioning about, well, actually it's all been women, I think, have been looking for husbands. So unfortunately we're living in a time where it's very difficult for women to find good husbands. But a little technical difficulty there. Anyone who is interested or knows anyone who's interested, please message us or go in the comments section and
just message us privately on our Instagram page, because we want to keep everything private. We want to respect everyone's personal
wishes
identity, wishes.
We don't do nothing at all. It's just whatever anyone wants to do, and we desperately need more connections. More connections in this world. It's too hard for people to get married and connected. We say we're in such a connected world, but man, talk to any of the maybe tens or hundreds of millions of people in the world right now, the whole world, who are trying to get married, and it's tell them how connected we are. It feels like they're just all alone. I know that's how it feels. It felt for me before I got married. Is that kind of that's how it feels. It's natural. It's human. So we're talking about marriage again. So thanks for coming on our channel.
Don't forget to message us while our following is still small. We have time to reply and interact with everyone else. Yeah,
I see these other channels, when they get big, it comes to a point where logistically it's not possible to keep up anymore. So we're probably never going to get to that size. I don't know if I could even handle that big size. But we're having fun making the videos now, so I hope you guys are having fun watching them.
Thank you again for tuning in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakaatuh.
Assalamu alaikum. Allah hafid.